Parisian Connection Grand Premiere. Apologies in advance for my video and my audio. I'm by the beach, seaside in France, so the connection is not really good. But apologies for that. We do have the dream team in the building. The dream team is in the building. So we have Oliver with us tonight and Lee. Can you hear me, Oliver?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think Lee's having a problem with it, though.
Okay, let's bring him back. Can you hear us, Lee? All good? What's going on? Good now.
Can you hear me, Lee?
All right. Can you hear us now?
I don't think you can hear either of us.
Oh, all right. Okay. Let me write in. How you doing, mate? You good? Yeah. No. There's a little technical issue for the Grand Premiere, obviously. Lee cannot hear either of us. We'll just bring him back, mate. So that is the Grand Premiere of the Parisian Connection. We are on the Parisian Londoner channel. Apologies for that, but we will be starting next week. The YouTube channel of the Parisian Connection will be up and running. But yeah, mate, we'll definitely talk about the Supercup final. But before we do that, let's bring on Lee. Can you hear us, Lee? No, he needs to
Can you hear
reset up his audio anyway. Neither of us. Anyway, I'm just going to text him. So yeah, mate, what do you make of this 2026 season, man? It's been a legendary season, no?
Yeah, it's been historical for us. Obviously, doing the back-to-back is absolutely huge, considering, people used to make fun of us for not having a Champions League not too long ago, and now we've picked up two of them. It's monumental, to be honest. It's great, and I think that comes purely from Luis Enrique. He has brought us so much in terms of changing the team's narrative and going away from all the superstars and building a team of people that contribute all together. So, for me, I think it's been great.
Can you hear us now, Lee?
I can hear you both loud and clear.
There you go. You see?
I'm in the room.
The main man is here. Lee is in the building, man. Lee's in the building. We were waiting for you to do the intros for the people watching us. So thanks for the people watching. We do have Lism in the building. We do have Aiden as well. You guys will always have a place in my heart for saving us Spurs fans live. Of course, we saved football. But yeah, we're going to do a little intro for you guys so you can understand what is the Parisian Connection about. And we all here diehard PSG fans. We decided to link up old generation, new generation with Oliver, obviously. But we have something in common, which is obviously unfiltered, passionate, genuine fandom for PSG. Myself, supporting since the 90s, founder of the Parisian Londoner channel, here to represent PSG in the country of football, in the city of football as well. I thought it would be a good idea to link up with my fellow Englishmen here that are supporting PSG, and you guys are brave to do that, to be fair, in the country of football. So yeah, I'll let you guys introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's JP. My real name's Oliver. I'm the English PSG fan, obviously, which is why I've been brought here. I do TikTok primarily, and I debate fans, keep everyone updated with the transfer news, and I have got unfiltered passion for the club, believe it or not, because some people doubt that. So just got to keep proving it day by day.
Nice little message here. And Lee's in the building as well.
Of course, absolutely, yeah. PSG's in the blood. What can I say? Without revealing my age, I've been a PSG fan since 1994. Yeah, first got a wind of PSG back in '94. I was a teenager. Watched some Champions League highlights. George Weah, like screamer against Bayern Munich. Some of you may remember, some of you may not. That one against Bayern back in '94. After that, well, I was hooked. What can I say? Followed PSG from afar. Then came the internet, the emergence of the internet, which made it a hell of a lot easier. First game was in 2002. Oliver, I'm guessing you probably weren't even born then, were you?
I was born in 07.
I'm going to stop right there. First game 2002, 4-0 win on a Wednesday night, Stu, against Lorient at the Park. First taste of PSG. Promised my girlfriend at the time, I'm going to take on a romantic midweek break to Paris. Just didn't tell her I was going to a game. So, she ended up spending the night rather than, a nice swanky restaurant overlooking the Eiffel Tower. She was at the park that night. And it was a great experience. And I was hooked ever since. Season ticket holder. I've been going for quite some time now. You'll find me jumping and bouncing around with the ultras. And I'm by trade, I'm a journalist, so I work for TalkSport. I work for Sport.com, and I try and be PSG's cheerleader on their broadcasts as well. So an absolute pleasure.
We need someone like you, Lee. We need someone like you because all those guys talking about Farmers Leagues and disrespecting PSG for too long. So we need someone in the country of football to remind them that we need to be respected. So thanks for doing this, man.
Listen, it's been all one-way traffic when it comes to PSG against English clubs. So I've been smiling for 2 years, my friends. 2 whole years.
And loving this.
It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. And long may it continue.
It's been great.
I went to my English fans and my friends and I was singing to them, champions of England, you'll never sing that, because I'm a PSG fan, but I'm also champion of England. So it is what it is. So the Parisian connection is all about passion, man. It's all about, there's no one here that is supporting a different club, only one club, right? I'm just sending a message out there to all the content creators that one day they support Man United, then they jump on the PSG train because we are recently successful, this and that. We are loyal to only one club, and this is why we have this allegiance and this connection all together through loyalty to the club. And that is important these days with content creation in general and clickbaiting and stuff like that. Some people forget that football is also about attending games and being loyal to your club. And this is why we have this Parisian connection in place now. So let's kick it off, boys. Let's kick it off. 2026.
Say as well,
Lee, you were in Budapest. Yeah.
Dude,
go on.
Budapest was incredible. I'm going to touch on Budapest, but I just want to say, just before we get started, I think it was great to highlight what you just said there. And I think we've got a nice mix, a real mishmash between us. Someone who is English, who's been through seeing the almost relegation in 2008. Stu, you remember that? Seeing the good times, the bad times. We've got you, Steve, you're a native, and then we've got the TikTok king, right, who's representing the new generation of PSG fans.
1,000%.
PSG fandom is growing, so we've got a really nice mix here. So I just wanted to make that point that, hopefully people are going to enjoy the content that we bring, and it will be raw, and it will be, there'll be opportunities for us to really kind of engage and deep dive into PSG. Some of us are match-going fans. We'll try and get some footage across to you guys, but it's going to be definitely worth sticking around for. It's going to be fun.
Jumping on this, bro.
Yeah.
I was on Oliver's TikTok live when I met with him, and I promised him in front of all his subscribers that I will take him this season with us at the Parc des Princes for the first time in the ultra section. Right, and all the people witnessed this live during his TikTok live, and obviously the Parisian connection will be live from the Parc des Princes this season. We'll bring you with some exclusive content, raw content, live and direct from the Parc des Princes as well. Oliver will be with us. I'm buzzing for this, man. It's going to be a great season. That will be amazing content that we're going to create all together, man. That's going to be cool.
I am.
couldn't agree
Can I
more.
just say as well, I'm so excited to go to my first match. Like this is my dream because obviously I've been supporting since I've been a teenager, and I've never quite been able to go, whether it's been the travel or tickets being sold out and other things. But to be able to get it this season, that's going to mean a lot to me. So I want to thank you guys for that. So yeah,
We're together,
let's
man.
crack on with it. Let's see.
Good to have you
We're
on board,
together.
Oliver, and
Let's
we're
crack
gonna
on.
get you. We're gonna get you there. Yeah. Wow.
Budapest, Lee. You were in Budapest. I wasn't. I was in Munich the year before. You were not. So one year to another. So I'm glad you were there. You met with the rest of the boys as well.
Well, yes, I did. Let's just say that Parisian Connection was represented at both finals. We can just say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was
Exactly.
still. Look, I know that you'll attest to this. You were in Munich the year before. I wasn't there, as you just pointed out. What an incredible experience to see your team win the Champions League. I mean, only a small percentage of fans ever get to experience that opportunity. It was the most incredible night of my life, not just because I watched us win, but also it was my birthday. And, I left my family behind and I flew to Budapest the day before and I thought, wow, I'm not going to be with my family on my birthday, my daughter, all of those things, but I had to do it.
Wow.
And
huge sacrifice.
do you know what? It was a big sacrifice, but you know what? To be there on your birthday and to see them win that.
It was worth it, innit?
Yeah.
Imagine if we lost, man, to Arsenal. Oh my God. Man, you would have been gutted,
Do you know what?
Oh my days!
Can I just say something? Was it Hayden who wrote in, the Spurs fan, who dropped a message?
Yeah.
Is this Hayden? It was.
Yeah.
I flew out from Gatwick that day.
That was Hayden. Yeah.
Sorry, the day before. I went to Gatwick, and as you can imagine, it was just full of Arsenal fans. I had 2 Spurs fans come up to me in the terminal and say, "Please, win." Please. And they were literally, they had their hands together like this and say, "Please say football, please." And I just went to them, I said, "Do you know what? Don't worry, we got this. Because I was confident. We would get the job done. And we did. And it was just an incredible night. Stu, you was in the park, weren't you?
Yeah, Aiden,
you was at the park that night.
Yeah, I was in the park. It was great atmosphere. I was not able to make it to Budapest. I had a ticket at the very last moment. I sold it because I was not able to make it. So that's also something that I a little bit regret because I did have my ticket, but I wanted also to experience. I was watching the images during the Munich final and the celebrations in Paris, and it was a war zone, bro. It was a madness in Paris celebrations. So I was like, you know what? I was in Munich the year before. This year, I want to experience this from the city with my mates, with my Parisians alongside me. And to be fair, the park was buzzing. And after this, obviously, the celebrations in the street of Paris and everything. Yes, Hayden, you're still here, man. You guys are cheeky, the Aston Villa, the Spurs fans, because I don't know if you remember this, because I was talking about the price to attend the final. The Spurs fans, I don't know if you heard this story. They called the hotels in Budapest and they started booking hotel rooms with free cancellation. You heard about this story? And then at the very last second, all the hotels were fully booked. Yeah. You didn't know that, bro? Oh my,
no,
we are collateral damages.
Some guy.
Yes, man. Tell him, Oliver.
I gotta say, I saw a tweet. Some guy, he posted. So it was at the start of the season for Arsenal. And he tweeted that he'd basically got his hotel in Budapest booked. A bit of a cocky move from an Arsenal fan, expecting to get to that final. And so they booked the hotel. When they tweeted about it, obviously the tweet went viral later in the season when they did hit the final. He left the referral code on there. So someone called up the hotel with the code and they basically just said, cancel the hotel. And that person, I guess, did not go.
Amazing.
The Spurs
top
fans,
tier
man.
shouts, right?
Oh my God. I think it is, man. It is. But yeah, everyone in England was supporting PSG, man. I was surprised. I've never seen such a big support for PSG during that final. I mean, they were not supporting PSG. They were rooting against Arsenal, which is different.
Yeah.
But
This is it. There was, Do you know what? I think there's been a general shift in the way that certainly English fans view PSG, and I'd like to get, I guess, UK and Ireland view from our guest that we're going to be bringing in later on, just to get his perception on, his view on how they see this kind of mammoth PSG that's taking over and dominating European football at the moment. But I think there's a general. I think the general feeling is turning towards PSG. I think I think there's a lot of neutral fans or fans of other clubs that like watching PSG, like watching the way we play. There's a
That's
general more
entertaining to
respect
watch.
around PSG. Very entertaining to watch. I think they hold us very much in high esteem because of what we've done for 2 years. So yeah, I guess that certainly from that perspective, I mean, I work in the newsroom, guys, in London, and these with other journalists, and the support for PSG was unbelievable before the game. There was literally like, please save football, save football. So the message that came across beforehand was, they unanimously wanted PSG to win the game and to beat Arsenal. And I've never seen a country just come together and just unite against
That's a very
Arsenal.
good
They
point, Lee,
united against
because I'd
them.
like to have your opinion on this kind of In my opinion, I see this a little bit of a hypocrite take in a way. Let me explain, because we were playing Arsenal and Arsenal was playing terrible haram ball, as we call it, like terrible defensive, sleepy football. That's why everyone was backing up PSG to save football. However, especially in England, if it was another English club, I think it would have been the total opposite, as in PSG is playing in the Farmers League. You're resting your players season in, season out. You're not as good as the Premier League clubs. And if it was kind of, you know what, let's take the example of the Supercup. If it was Aston Villa playing the Champions League final against PSG, in the newsroom, Lee, trust me, it would have been a different take. It would have been a different vibe. Because, trust me, we know by in England. We were loved during that game, specifically for that game, because it was Arsenal. If it was not Arsenal, it would have been a different story.
No, for sure. They don't really want to see us, succeed in that sort of sense, especially for now. If we've gone back to back, and if, for the final, say we got to the final for the three-peat, they would they would obviously want whichever other team to win, because they don't like seeing teams dominate. No one ever wants to see this sort of domination. But yeah, it's also an underdogs thing, I suppose. So yeah.
Yeah, I think if I go back to in probably the late, was it 2017, 2016, 17, 18, when Real Madrid were going for the three-peat.
Yeah.
I don't have any particular affiliation to Real Madrid, but I didn't want them winning it season after season after season. You want to see a new winner. And when they were knocked out the following year, it's actually quite refreshing. Now, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be gunning for us this year. This is going to be the toughest year of the lot. The first year was amazing. The second year, again, we showed our dominance. We flexed our muscles. The third, there's a lot of money being spent. Let
me interrupt you here, Lee. I'm sorry, but the second year, so the back-to-back, let's be honest, between ourselves, beginning of the season, after the long summer, the injuries that we have suffered in the beginning of the season, the bullshit Club World Cup that will no longer exist, by the way. So, hello, Chelsea fans, you can be undisputed world club champions, but no other club can play this competition anymore. So, beginning of the season, I was not expecting us to do the back-to-back at all. We won 6 trophies in a season. For me, reaching the semi-final, obviously we were holding the title, so I wanted us to go far in the competition. But to win with all the injuries that we had, etc., I was not expecting this at all, bro. The dominance we had, for me, was unexpected.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, I had the confidence after when we beat Leverkusen 7-2. I really did have the confidence, and I think as soon as we lost 2-0 to Bayern, that's when our momentum really shifted, and it started going down a bit. Obviously, we were able to recover it after the Rennes game, but I think that's when hope was maybe reignited. But yeah, we did have a dodgy patch. We had the injuries, obviously, and underperforming and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I think that, you know, I think that
So sorry for
not enough
interrupting you,
is.
but you saying we Lee, you were saying we can go for the three-peat.
Do I think we can go for 3P? Well, I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you. This time last year, if you'd have told me after just a 2 week summer break, injuries all over the place, what I didn't feel was a sufficient transfer window, which was Chevalier and Zabani, which I didn't think was sufficient
Mm,
to go again. I mean, I've questioned PSG's decision making at plenty of times, you know, across the years. I
mm,
think that if we're going to really delve into this, then why should we? Why should we think against that we can't do it? I mean, there's very few people I trust in this world, but Luis Campos and Luis Enrique are two of
mm,
them. I mean, they've given us absolutely no reason at all not to trust them. That's what we've got now.
true.
We've got trust in these guys
True.
that they can deliver. I think there's a system that works for them in terms of the way they utilize their squad in Ligue 1 compared to how they utilize their squad in the Champions League. I think there's a cut-off point in the season whereby we can coast, but then it's game time and it's business time. And you find that in the latter few months of the season where they show up. Don't forget, guys, remember the playoff against Monaco in February? We were shoddy. We were awful. We didn't look anything like
Mm,
European champions that
mm,
night.
Mm.
And they pushed us all the way.
yeah.
And
True.
then everything shifted. Chelsea, Liverpool, Bayern, and then Arsenal. I mean, that's a tough run. That's a tough run, really. Every game away, for every second leg away from
Well,
home. We
comparing
need to
to
show up when
Arsenal,
we.
had a very tough run. I agree.
Yeah, every game we showed up for. When it's business time, there is no club in world football that can show up and mean business like this team right now. They show up when they need to
Agreed.
show up.
Agreed.
Sorry, I've got to say as well. I know it's a bit off topic, but this UCL format. Obviously, we've won both of the competitions on the new format, but I do think it needs
Yeah.
reevaluating in a way because the way the bracket was so lopsided this year, you've got all these European champions on one side. You know, you got lots of
Yeah.
Madrid,
True.
Bayern, and City, and then on the other side, you've got Arsenal,
Yeah.
Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. Like all the fighting's going on this side. And, you know, PSG Bayern could have been the final. It should have been the final if Bayern were on the other side of the bracket. But, you know, I think that does need some sort of
But for us, mate,
reevaluation.
let's be honest, he makes the win and the trophy even greater by having
It
this
does.
path, this difficult path, because now there's no debate. Like no one can say, "Oh, you had an easy draw," or "Oh, you played the likes of this club," and
Mm.
then look at the other side of the table. It was battle royale on our
Yeah.
side. It was a bloodbath, man, and we did manage to win. So to be fair, it's even more enjoyable now.
It is. And you go back to the group phase, guys, and well, we'll call it a league phase. It is what it is now. And statistically, according to Opta, PSG had the second toughest league phase. Every game has been a real challenge, really. And it was a pretty tough one the year before as well. I'm not sure why. And it'd be interesting because we've got 3 weeks now. Is it 3 or 2? I think it's 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks anyway, until the league phase draw comes
Yeah.
again. Now, if we start churning out all of these, a really difficult schedule again, we have to
Mm,
investigate that, gents. I think
Oh, yeah,
because,
for sure.
but look, we don't get any Kairat El Martis, we don't get Bodo Glimps, we don't get Club Bruggers, we don't get those teams really, do we? We get Leverkusens, we get, it's probably our easiest game would be a Leverkusen or Athletic Bilbao. I mean, they're still tough games to play against, but they tend to be our easy
yeah.
games.
True.
But as you said, Stu, I think it makes it all the more sweeter, doesn't it? When you're in a situation where you
Mm,
look back on all of your games, your 17 games in this competition, and you
no
think,
debate.
yeah, we're beating everybody. And nobody can question whether
Yeah.
we are rightful winners or not because we've beaten the lot.
It's literally flawless. It's
But we
practically
need some
flawless. Right?
reinforcement this season.
Yeah, for
Look,
sure.
summer transfer window. That's the next topic before we bring on our guest. But you mentioned reinforcement. Before we discuss the arrivals, I would like to point out that is amazing business from Luis Campos in finally selling Colomwani to Juventus. Finally, and it looks like Colomwani is super happy to join Juventus. We do have. I'm crying. We'll see about that, but I'm already crying seeing Gonzalo Ramos leaving. For me, he was my super sub. For everyone, I guess he was amazing with us. Super useful. Was never complaining. Amazing attitude. Killer in front of the goal. So I'm again. We got good money for him. AC Milan. I believe Atletico they got Lee. Good money. We got good money as well for Lee. The one that we need to get rid of, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I realized today that apparently Renato Sanchez is still on the payslip. Is it
Yeah,
true?
I've seen. Yeah,
He is. He is. He's
Oh
still
my
hanging
days,
around.
man. Oh my God. It's
I don't know if
been
there's any
long, man.
takers
It's been
for
it
him.
so
was
long.
it was similar. It was similar with Kolo Muani because when he got back from the holiday and whatnot, he started training with the C team. I saw, and I thought to myself, how's that gone so under the radar by everyone else? So yeah, we need these players to go, and yeah, just to kind of echo what you said, Gonzalo Ramos is a painful one for me because I think he's very irreplaceable,
Yeah,
and
agreed.
I have a take that he's probably the best super sub in the world, and people may call that ridiculous, but ultimately he picked us up so many points in the league, even in the Champions League against Barcelona and stuff like that. Like he really did a lot
1000%.
for us. That
He'll be a big miss, gents.
We
I
will
just
have a
want to
look at
echo
the
what.
stats when the ratio. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to echo what you guys have said. Ramos was a little bit of a cult hero, but someone who I respected, who I liked. Sadly, he just didn't fit the system. Nothing to do with his ability. Is a goal scorer, is a predator, is a box striker, but just doesn't fit. Like Colin Moore, he just doesn't fit the system that Luis Enrique plays. But one thing I just want to touch on about Ramos was his exemplary attitude, despite coming for big money, despite constantly
Yeah.
being on the bench. It's been a
Yeah.
tough period for him. He's not only been on the bench at PSG, he's been on the bench for Portugal because he's not been able to dislodge Ronaldo from the starting 11, which was never going to happen under Roberto
Unfortunately.
Martinez. That's a different story, of course. So,
Big mistake.
I'm
Yeah.
really pleased he's got his move, and he's got his move to a top club. So hopefully he can start banging the
Yeah.
goals in.
He
And
deserves
there's
it.
nothing but respect. And by the way, in Budapest, I thought it was excellent when he came on. He was called upon. Coolly took his penalty in the shootout. Beautiful finish. And you can see him, he's drumming up, he's drumming the team up, and he's, that energy, that passion for the club right until the last minute. So he goes with my blessing, and I wish him nothing but the best for the future.
Yeah, me so.
Talking about the final, quickly, Lee, I have a little message for you. I see a little nice kit in the background, but you're missing a little something that I have with me.
You do. It's gonna be that little and when I see you, it's gonna have
little
a
patch,
nice little print on
final
there that says
patch. Yeah,
"Final
man.
Budapest
Exactly.
2026," just to top it off. And then I suppose I'm probably gonna need a new shirt with another star because that one's got one star. There's only one star on it. I think we need two, don't we? Yeah.
Talking about new shirts. If you had to get one name set back this season, other than the existing players that we have, such as the one that I have on my back, which player would you go for? Likadin, Akliouche?
I've got Akliouche
if you had to go for a name set.
Well, are we talking? Sorry,
really?
We're talking new players. The new players.
Yeah, new players only for a name set.
New players only. Okay.
Yeah. Summer transfer windows, so new players only. Yeah.
I've got the home one on the way with Akliouche on the back because even just watching him in the league last season, I'm so excited to see what he brings. And under Enrique's management, I think he's going to be absolutely world class. So I bought the shirt to get a bit more excited.
How old is he now? How old is he? He's like 28, something like this.
25.
25. Okay.
I don't think he's quite. Yeah, I don't think he's quite 28.
I think he's 25 still. Yeah. Right move at the right time. Just to answer your question, out of the players that have come in, I'd probably go Akliouche as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one with him. I think it's signing that it's probably been tipped to happen for about 2 or 3 years, isn't it? and he's finally got it over the line. Obviously, a couple of years left on his contract, so it was time. I think it's a good move that suits all parties. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think he was ready for his big move away from Monaco.
Yeah.
You know, to challenge himself instead of playing in front of 6,000 fans in a quiet stadium. We can now play in front of the park. I thought he was brilliant against us when they beat us in, was it early March? They beat us 3-1 at the park. I thought he was excellent that night, and that was probably the moment where Campos said, "Yeah, okay, we're going to grab him in the summer." Yeah, very, very good. Obviously, he's broken into the French squad now, needs to kind of establish himself in the starting 11. So, looking good on the international front, and hopefully, he can bring more than again. I suppose would we look at him as a replacement for Lee? He's probably replacing him, isn't he?
He's gonna.
You know, will he bring more? Will he bring more?
I think so.
I think so as well. I think that's a really.
I think it's not
great. I think it's not great.
Yeah, up front we need more.
Yeah.
I think to answer my own question. Okay, I'm buzzing for Akliouche because a little bit of a local knowledge sharing with you. He's from the Tremblay en France, who is in the suburbs of Paris. Is originally from the Paris region, so it's always good as a born and raised to see a Parisian coming back to PSG and play for the city and for the club. So it's good. He has this little extra love for the club just by the fact that he's from the Paris region. So it's good that we have him on board. However, someone that has even more love for the badge, and I'm even more excited to see back at the club, is Lucas Digne, boys. Is Lucas Digne. I'm sorry, Lucas Digne. I'm fighting for Lucas Digne because the deal with Lucas Digne is from the beginning that he will be the backup dancer of Nuno Mendes. And that was the deal. Like, you will be on the bench if we need you, and we don't have our starting 11 players performing, then or getting injured, then you will play. But he doesn't mind. He managed to negotiate a 3-year contract. I think he's 33 years old. Even when Lucas Digne was at Aston Villa, his kids, I met with him at many occasions, by the way. He's a lad, very humble, very nice, very kind. He's a top player. His attitude, we'll discuss it with our Aston Villa friend when he will be joining the show. But even the Aston Villa fans will tell you that they have nothing but good vibes and good comments on Lucas Digne. He's focused on the task. On top of this, his kids, even when he was at Aston Villa, were massive PSG fans, were always wearing the kits. He was taking his kids to the Parc des Princes while he was playing for Aston Villa. He loves the club, man. He's a child from the club. So I'm super happy to see Lucas Digne back at the club.
Yeah, 100%. I think this is a really smart piece of business. You know what was really nice is nobody saw it coming. And often what you see with PSG signings is that you kind of spot them.
True.
You know, sometimes months in advance, you roughly know what's coming in. But this came out of nowhere, and I think this is really smart business. The fact that he's just started for France at the World Cup shows you that he's still got that quality. But also, when you look through and you have a look at his, almost like his role of honour, let's look at the clubs he's represented. So he started at Lille, he went to PSG, he's played for Roma, he played for Barcelona, and then he's obviously played in the Premier League with Everton, with Aston Villa. That's not a bad really kind of record of clubs that he's played for. He's played at the highest level. So I think this is great business, experienced, know-how. I think you could see towards the end of last season and in the World Cup that Nuno Mendes is cooked. He needs a rest. He needs to be managed this season. I think that I think that's a really, really good bit of business for PSG to bring him in. I would expect that Digne will probably play more Champions League, Coupe de France games. Ligue 1 rather than Champions League. Sorry, Ligue 1 and Coupe de France games. I think the bulk of his games will come from that. But like what you were saying, Stu, we've got somebody who's passionate about the club. If you've seen his socials, you'll see that this is a guy who's really excited to be back, and that's what we want. Players that want to be at this club. There's a definite thumbs up from me on this one.
I wanted to echo as I wanted to add on to that.
Go on.
With bringing Lucas Digne back, it is also good business because I don't know if you guys have seen or really maybe thought, but him being the backup left back now, that shifts Hernandez along. So Hernandez will now be attributed to being a backup left centre back.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's
Hernandez, man.
I think that's perfect for us.
Yeah. So it's almost like
Man, he was
a new
terrible,
signing,
that
isn't it?
guy,
It's like
man.
a
He's
new
also,
Yeah.
new
I'm
centre back.
biased with Hernandez, boys, because I know he's a Marseille fan. He loves Marseille. He's said it many times. As soon as we signed Hernandez, I was pissed off, man. I was pissed
Mm.
off. Obviously, he joined PSG because he's getting good oil money. Now he's pretending, yeah, he loves Paris. He loves, yeah, you love Paris. You love the capital city because you want to go out in clubs and party and go to nice restaurants like everyone else. But mate, this guy, man, I've never be a fan of this guy. I'm happy Lucadine will take his spot. The three other names that we need to talk about, boys. We'll keep Bacola for the end, but Ferran Torres and also the guy from Ajax,
Mika
the
Gotts.
wonder kid. What's his name?
Mika Gotts.
Yes. This guy, man. Or if you look at the heat map, and if you are a very stat-oriented type of fan, his stats are unreal. Apparently, he's unreal. This guy. So talk to us about him, Oliver.
Mika Gotts. So yeah, Mika Gotts is obviously probably the brightest talent in Ajax right now and in the Eredivisie as a whole. He's a Belgian. People are comparing him, saying he's like a young Eden Hazard. As soon as we were linked with him, I decided to get straight onto the
Oh,
research part. So I wanted to, sort of see maybe some stats, maybe some of the types of goals he scored. He seems to be
yeah,
quite a
yeah.
dribbler. In some situations, he's a bit of an over dribbler. But if he's under the right management and he knows when to shoot and he kind of just develops in the right sort of way, then it's definitely good potential. And I think under Enrique, that's perfect for him. Hence why he's exploring the move. And we should see that at some point. It should be for around a fee of 50 million because they're going to ask for a lot of money considering his. I think he got
Of
Eredivisie
course.
Young Player of the Year last season. So yeah,
And on top
he's
of this,
exciting.
you add the Qatar, the oil, what we call it, the oil money tax. It's always like this with us, right? Oil money tax. A player is a certain price on the market objectively. They know PSG is interested. Boom, they add a little extra. It's always
A
like this,
little
man.
extra. But it's not actually too bad if you think about it, because for Ramos we got 70 million. For Lee, I believe we got somewhere between 35 and 45
I think it
million.
was about 40, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously we might be selling Barcola for quite a hefty price as well. So even Barcola's fee, when we get onto that in a minute, that might cover our new front three that goes
All
behind
of it.
Dembele,
Yeah.
Kvara, and Doué. Yeah, because
Yeah.
obviously they're all like 50 mil and sort of in that price range.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see.
And what
Yeah,
do you make of
I like
Ferran
the look of
Torres,
him.
the Spanish guy?
Ferran Torres, I've heard from Barcelona fans that they're quite fed up with him, so I'm a little bit skeptical. And obviously, if anyone knows about early career Ferran Torres, he started off as a right midfielder, then he's gone left wing and right wing. So he's not really the natural sort of finisher that Gonzalo Ramos is. But we'll just have to see. We're not going to be able to replace Gonzalo Ramos in the way we want, so we just need to improvise for now and just maybe he develops well and does well. So we'll have to see.
Ferran Torres, interesting one. Wouldn't have been my first choice. However, can finish. Hard worker. I think you just touched on there, Oliver, when you said he plays left wing, right wing. That's music to Luis Enrique's ears. He's already said if I could have 11 players that could play in every position, that would be his
Yeah,
dream.
that's crazy.
So you've got that versatility that straight away Enrique's going to be on. Barcelona get fed up with a lot of players. They got fed up with Ronald Araujo.
Yeah.
He's just gone to Liverpool. They were quite fed up with Ousmane Dembele, and then he left and won a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
So Barcelona fans get fed up very, very, very easily. And
Yeah,
look,
that's true.
I'm going to embrace him. He's going to come to the club. The one thing that he's had is an incredible summer. His PR is absolutely through the roof. I don't know if you've seen him. He's doing an American tour. He's been on the American tour, going on every talk show you can go on. Obviously, it's not just because he's
Wow.
won the World Cup. He's obviously a handsome guy, and he's getting a lot of attention for his
Yeah, that's
looks,
right.
his hair, his locks. So he's getting attention from the ladies. He's getting
Yeah.
on every TV show.
Yeah, of
But I
course.
trust Luis Enrique now to bring him back down there
Not
because
not only the
there's a
ladies, by the
job to
way.
be
We're not
done.
excluding anyone.
You know what? Yes, absolutely. Whoever you are, whatever you're into,
Exactly.
absolutely. But do you know what? I guess the one, I wouldn't call it a red flag, but the one concern I would have is that he's on the crest of a wave, and he's obviously one of the most famous faces in the world at the moment. He's making news. He's on every TV show. He's all over the place. But there's a job to be done at this club, which starts on Wednesday night. The season starts. We need focus. We need everybody focused. Now, I trust Luis Enrique to bring that guy, humble him a little bit, bring him back down to earth, because this is he's walking into a team of European champions, back-to-back European champions.
That is spot on, Lee. That is spot on.
Focus. It is time to focus. This is everything we've built PSG on for the last few years, is focus, the collective, nobody above anything else. You won the World Cup, you scored the winning goal. I tip my hat to you. But it's business time now.
It's spot on. Like that. They need to he will quickly understand that he's walking into a team where everyone's got a mentality to just win. Even on the post-match interviews after both UCL finals, the players would be talking about how they just need to, celebrate this one and then get straight on to focusing on winning the next one. If he doesn't, then we'll see him benched. And we do have backup strikers. They may not be quite at that quality, but Mayulu can go striker. Ayari's obviously an upcoming talent who we saw against United. So he needs to. We're making an assumption, I suppose. But he might come in and just be perfectly fine. But he'll be brought down to earth quickly.
It's just that we have a bad history with players with big egos. And we did manage to clean this in the dressing room. And that was why we were stuck, because of all those egos that we had. And now if we bring a player that is, seducing to the ladies, to the men, to whoever you want, he's going on an American tour. I didn't know about the American tour. And he's like the center of the attention, obviously, in Spain. Just won the World Cup. He's like me. Then... man, I don't think that's going to be a good fit, Me, personally, I would not take the risk. Personally.
Who would you go for? Because it's clear that we need an attacker.
There's no one.
Is there anybody that stick out? Would you go for Endrick?
Mate, Endrick is good, man. Endrick is good. That's a very good shout. Endrick, there's the frustration around what happened to him. Endrick is a very good shout. Go on.
I need to bring up a player as well that hasn't been mentioned yet. So he's injured now, so he's not going to get a move because obviously he cannot complete a medical. But Krupi Jr. is someone who we had on the cards quite early. Bournemouth said something about not willing to sell, but for the right amount of money, anyone will sell. We do have financial standards of ourselves.
Oliver. Do you remember the last guy we bought from Bournemouth?
No,
I don't want to buy any player from Bournemouth anymore. Leave me alone. I don't want to do business with Bournemouth anymore. That's fine. You can keep it.
It wasn't.
Come on, man.
To be fair, it did end up like that, didn't it? Because they wanted money, and we did get scammed for Zabani. Obviously, it was 66 million.
We did.
That's
big
incredible.
Big time.
But yeah, no. Even someone like Balogun is someone we were linked with as well. Don't quite know if he'd sort of fit our system, and he didn't go to Monaco that long ago. But even just, I think a natural finisher is just what we need, because that is what Ramos's role was. It was just coming on and being a natural finisher and being a poacher. So
I know, Lee, why you're mentioning Hendrick, because he bullied us when he played with Lyon against us, man.
He did.
He bullied us, man. And the good thing about Hendrick, he knows the French league as well. He knows the French league, so that could be a great fit. I did not even think about him.
Yeah, he picked up a bit of French, but he's look. I just can't see the door opening for him at Madrid. Not with Mbappe there, not with their attacking talent that they've got.
Of course,
he's going to be, he's going to be behind in the pecking order. He would have not even gone to the World Cup if he hadn't gone to Lyon. That gave him a shot at the World Cup. He's going to slip straight back into frustration again. It's come out today that Jose Mourinho wants him to stay. He's looking like he's going to stay. I'll put money on it now. January, he'll be back on loan again.
Yeah, that's a good shout. What about Bakola? We're going to wrap it up on the transfer window news. Bakola, I'm going to be starting on Bakola because I want you guys to share your hopefully the same opinion as mine. But for me, Bakola is unfinished business with PSG. It's unfinished business. I feel frustrated for him, yes, but on the other end, the guy behind me here is irreplaceable. He cannot take his spot. And Bacola is better on the left as well. So you cannot do anything about Kvaratskhelia. I understand that he wants to start and play in another team and at least have more game time. But for me, the recent success of PSG, the back-to-back, and the switch of mentality, and you will correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, because I believe you were at this game as well, is the Man City comeback at the Parc des Princes. And the football kit that you have behind you as well, Lee, is Bacola's football kit. The Jordan Wings is his kit. For me, you should, if you have this kit, you should have Bacola on the back. Because against Man City, what he did at the Parc des Princes was a violation. And it started all for us. What happened after this? I don't know, the curse that we had around comebacks, we were doing comebacks now. And for me, this game of Bacola, it will always be here in my heart, in my head. It was amazing. So for me, Bacola, just the frustration was the finishing. Finishing. And for the past couple of months, I'd say, and we saw it with the French national team, he looks like he's worked on his finishing. And now I can guarantee, if he add the finishing to what he already has, he will be a world-class player.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more. 55th minute, end of January 2025.
Yep.
I think it was Manuel Akanji absolutely took him out. And that was the catalyst which started the comeback. And this is what's led to this back-to-back. He started it all off. For me, it's going to be really disappointing if he does go. I was never on the Yan Diomande train, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I wanted Barcola to stay. He was in no way a replacement for Barcola. But ultimately, I just think there's, like with you, there's unfinished business there. It doesn't feel right that he's going to leave. It doesn't feel right that he should go on. For me, he's downgrading. I don't care what anyone says. Like now, if you leave the European champions at the back-to-back, you're downgrading. Some people might argue he's going to a better league. That's fine, not a problem. But you're downgrading because you're the best club in the world. Now, here's the thing.
Agreed.
I don't get the notion that he's not playing. He gets a lot of game time, an awful lot of game time, because the team's always rotated. Now, if you laid out PSG's best 11, yes, he doesn't start. He doesn't. And I think the best way I could put that is take the 96th minute of the Champions League final, this year's Champions League final. He's bearing down on goal. He one shot on target, gets it in, he wins the Champions League for PSG.
Yeah.
He does this
1000%.
horrific touch. And I think he hit the side netting. And that was the moment where you just like, that's why you don't start ahead of Kvaratskhelia. You're a wonderful player and a great talent, but it's those key moments where you've got one chance. That's where Kvaratskhelia will score and he'll bury it and he'll win the game. And that's where you get put on the bench. Now, ultimately, going back to what you were saying there, Stu, there is a world-class player in him without a doubt. Now, I liken him very much to an early Ousmane Dembele. Pace, can beat players, easy on the eye, gets you on the edge of your seat, but will frustrate you at the final moment. Look how much Dembele's grown as a player. I think Barcola can tread the same path as well. And I think when he's 26, 27, 28, I think he'll be world-class.
On those very, very nostalgic words, sorry for interrupting you, Oliver, because we have our guest waiting to preview the Super Cup final with us. And the funny story about this is that I was today on stream with Neil.
I know, I recognize that face.
Welcome back, mate. Welcome back, mate. How you doing?
How you doing, guys? You good?
Hi, Neil.
Yeah, good to have you. Good to have you on the show, man. Good to have you. So we previewed the Super Cup. For the little story, guys. We were on Villa Forever, a pod of Villa fans earlier this afternoon. So we had conversations on the Super Cup final. So that's going to be an interesting exchange we're going to have now. So Neil, welcome on the Parisian Connection. You have the whole gang here. Welcome. Thanks. We were discussing Lucas Digne earlier. You know our thoughts on Lucas Digne, obviously, but will be good to have your your thoughts on Luca Dean at Aston Villa?
Yeah, Luca Dean is an absolute consummate professional. Absolute, like, genuinely, there will be a conversation about whether and I started this conversation knowing well that he wouldn't be number one, that he'd probably come in at number two, as Aston Villa's best left back in the Premier League era, because it's hard to beat out the great Steve Staunton. That obviously I'm biased with regards to being Irish, and Steve Staunton's one with the left foot, but you know, Luca Dean will be absolutely fondly remembered by Aston Villa fans. We loved him, absolutely loved him. Like, even these little things, like that, after Villa would win a game, he would take off his shirt walking down through the tunnel and just shout out, "And another one," every time. And Villa fans were waiting for that. And I was in Istanbul for that, for the European Cup win. And when Luca Dean, after the game, when we were all waiting just behind the goals, and Luca Dean came up to the fans, and and everyone just was like, "Shh," and the whole place went quiet. Then he just shouted out, "And another one," and the whole place went loco. You know, we absolutely loved Luca Dean, and it's funny. It's seldom in the modern era whereby a player will go with absolutely 100% blessing from the fans. And that's what happened here, because Luca Dean was going home. He was going home, and he went home after winning a trophy for us. And I can't say a bad word about him at all. He was great in the dressing room. He went through some like, he was here during the Steven Gerrard era, which I like, as I say, sometimes you got to wade through muddy waters to get to the bank and get to freedom, don't you? And that's what happened with Steven Gerrard to get to Unai Emery. And then when second Unai Emery came in, Luca Dean fended off all the challengers that were put in his way, between Alex Moreno, Ian Matson, and Luca Dean just kept on getting better and better. And I think what encapsulates how much of a warrior he is. He doesn't look like a warrior. You look at him with his perfect hair and everything like that, and he's a slender guy, but this guy's tough as all boots. He dislocated his shoulder in a Sunday game for Aston Villa, and we were like, "Oh my God, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks." He played the next Thursday after dislocating his shoulder on a Sunday.
Wow.
And little things like that for him were huge. They were huge for him to ingratiate himself with the fans, and they were huge for, I suppose, to just show the measure of the man. He'll be missed in the dressing room, and he'll definitely be, like, as I say, he's 33 years of age, and he's going home, and he's going to arguably the best club team in the world at the moment. So more power to him.
Fair enough. Do you reckon he will? So I asked you the question earlier on the pod, if he was allowed to play the Super Cup final, and depends on the registration or something like this. I believe Lee, I think is fine to play against Aston Villa, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's any concerns around that. I think did he start? He's only just started training, hasn't he? Last couple of days, I think. So whether he will start or not, I'm not so sure. Because he's obviously come back with all of the other French players from the World Cup, and I think they return. Did they return today? I think they returned today, if I'm right. So whether he starts or not, I'm not so sure. He may get a place on the bench. But look, in terms of Luca Dean, we've said before you jumped on there, we think it's a really good sign, a really good piece of business. You know, he's still starting for France in the World Cup. You've picked up this guy who wants to come back to the club, wants to come home, and he's still performing at a pretty good level, isn't he? What will he? What would he bring to PSG, do you think? You know, in terms of, he was at the club many years ago, and he had a couple of seasons, and he did okay. Moved on. What's this current version, this 33-year-old version of Luca Dean? What can he offer now? What's his kind of strengths?
Luca Dean is one of the best deep ball crossers of the ball. I would go so far as to say he was probably the best in the Premier League last year. He gets an inordinate amount of assists from that. He was a brilliant weapon. I used to say, like, last year when we had Ian Matson, who would take the ball to the byline, and he was obviously whip it fast, and he was able to get up and down the line. Luca Dean knew his limitations. Luca Dean would get so far up the field and he would stand and wait. And when you delivered him the ball, if there was a man in his face, or if he got at least 3 or 4 yards, he was whipping a really good cross into the area. When you look at it, like and this is why you should never just scout people off stats. Because if you look at his stats, I think he comes in at about 31 or 33% shots cross success rate. This guy, like when they were successful crosses, they were causing all types of danger in there. So I think if you've got somebody like an Uno Menge and they're there on that left hand side, or obviously potentially somebody like Hernandez or whoever is there, they're a lot more active players. Luca Dean's a lot more refined player. He knows he's 33 years of age, so he's not going to try and be Superman. And what he does is, what I found is, he tended to, like, he's still an incredibly good defender. Okay, he had 1 or 2 kind of lapses, is what I would say, of concentration. He made it very easy for Ryan to score his very first goal in the Premier League this year because he just completely forgot to move. Yeah, but I think that was a miscommunication with the centre half as well, because it was, or he just lost bearings of where he was in the field, because it just was so out of character for him to do that. He had that handball against Nottingham Forest, which I think was just another freak of nature situation in the Europa League semi-final. Thankfully, it didn't amount to much because Villa went and destroyed them in the second half. But he's still very good defensively. He's still, like, he conserves energy. I think he's going to be really good. And I think the move to Paris Saint-Germain will be really good for him from the point of view of the fact that Paris Saint-Germain are so ball dominant. He'll have opportunities to have resting defense so that he can conserve his energy for if he does need to make massive sprints back. And I think that will suit him. I think that would suit him an awful lot. But he gives you that different outlet that, okay, if things aren't going right, and we want to start crossing the ball in, or we want to start maybe whipping balls cross field or playing more diagonals, he's going to be able to do that from that left-hand side, as opposed to being that gung-ho, real attacking fullback that Paris Saint-Germain have had thus far under Luis Enrique.
Fair enough. I mean, I told you that was my most exciting signing of so far. It's just that the love for the badge is also adding this extra flavor, man. But with everything that you just said, Neil, it's music to my ears. The crosses. Chad said it earlier in the pod together. He said his crosses are immaculate. So I'm fine with this. Oliver, I remember you had a chance to watch Luca Dean play for PSG as well, isn't it?
No, not for PSG. I haven't seen him play for PSG. No.
Was it 2013, 14, something like that? It was at PSG. Certainly his early days when we signed him from Lille. It was under Laurent Blanc, if I remember rightly. Laurent Blanc signed him. But no, I think what I mean with what Neil's just said there is that's what we want to hear at PSG, don't we? This is what we want, especially for a backup. He knows his place at PSG. He's come, like what you said earlier, Stu, he's got a 3-year contract, but he knows his place. He knows he's not going to be the starter, but he will get game time because this team's going to be fighting on all fronts. And we know that Luis Enrique likes to conserve his players for the back end of the season, that business end of the season. He will get plenty of minutes, I believe, across the season. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, and I think he's going to be a really welcome addition. Yeah.
Oliver, we were saying earlier that it will also be a clash between the managers, the 2 Spanish managers. Obviously, Unai Emery was a PSG manager. I personally liked Unai Emery at PSG, to be fair. He was not unanimous amongst the fans. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Lee, but at PSG, Unai Emery was not one of the best coaches that we had. Luis Enrique versus Unai Emery. What do you make of this face-off for the Super Cup final?
Well, this will be interesting, to be fair, because they're 2 quality managers. They're 2 proven managers. Obviously, what Emery did for PSG was, very good for the time. And it was, part of the process of obviously getting to where we are now, as it has been. But yeah, this game will be great. He's obviously won Aston Villa a trophy, which is a big thing for them in their fan base. And obviously Enrique's come over, and he's probably our best manager of all time, if we're honest. So seeing these 2 clash it'll be entertaining. The only thing for Villa that I think obviously is going to let them down is how they've lost quite a few players. They've lost Dean, like we've just spoken about, and they've lost Rodgers, and Tielemans. So there's quite a few that have gone now. So it'll be interesting. I think it'll be great.
Fair enough. Before we do the score predictions, guys, I'm not going to play this game, but I do have a little game for the Super Cup final. I'm going to ask you, all of you actually, to name as many players as you can that played for both clubs, PSG and Aston Villa. Let's say, for example, I'm going to try to explain it properly. I have on the top of my head 2 players that played for PSG and Aston Villa. If you have more, you can say 3. And if you have more, you can say 4. And then, if no one has more, then you need to name all of them. Oliver, you start.
I know the 2.
I can name 1 right now.
Okay. How about you, Lee?
Oh, God, right. So off the top of my head, obviously, I've got the obvious one we've just spoken about. There's going to be some really obvious one, isn't there? It's going to be a really obvious one, isn't there? And that I'm not picking up on.
The 3 ones that you can add, they played for both PSG and Aston Villa in the last 3 years. So very recent players.
I can think of 3.
Wow, I'm forgetting mad.
You can still think of some. So you got 2 or only 1? Because Neil has already 3 in his head. Come on,
Neil's
boys.
got 3.
Yeah.
I can't even think of the second one.
Okay. You know what? Lee, I'm giving you a massive clue. Is one of my favorite PSG legend played also for Aston Villa. And I had him on my first Parisian Londoner podcast show, and he helped me heavily.
Of course.
With the project.
My God, I can't believe I forgot.
Lee, come on, man.
Monsieur David. I can't believe I forgot that.
I forgot all about that one. Didn't have him at all.
Oh my God, guys, come on.
So you've got,
completely forgot he played
you've
with
got a
PSG.
couple of others. So you've got a couple of others,
man.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Neil, how many do you have?
I have 3. I have 3 on top of that. Well, I'm sorry, Luca Dean, obviously. Marco Asensio. And Idrissa Gana Gueye.
Yes, exactly. You got 3.
Idrissa Gana.
Do you have more? There's 2 more, guys. 2 more. Only 2 more.
2 more?
Only 2 more.
Are we digging deep and are we going back here?
So he mentioned 3. He mentioned Luca Dean. You mentioned Idrissa Gana Gueye, and you mentioned Marco Asensio. Then you add David Ginola. Lee mentioned David Ginola. So we have 4, and there's only 1 left. Okay, 1 left. And he played for Aston Villa. He joined Aston Villa in 2023. He's from the PSG Academy. His first name is Moussa.
Moussa Diaby.
Moussa Diaby.
There you go.
Should have got that, but wouldn't have got that.
5 players.
That was me. All that was going through my mind was Didier Cease from back in the day. That was all that was going through my mind, and I was like, he didn't play for PSG. He didn't play.
David Ginola, boys, come on, David Ginola, legend.
I could have been here all year and not got David Ginola. I would have been here all year and not remembered him.
And I don't want to hurt your feelings, Neil, but when we had David Ginola on the pod, we asked him, obviously he's a PSG legend, we had to ask him what was his best experience or best fans that he has experienced as a footballer between Tottenham, Newcastle, Aston Villa, and PSG. And you know what his answer was?
Spurs.
Jordi Land. Jordi Land.
Really? Was it?
Newcastle. Yes, really? Yes. Wow. Yes, he said this on a PSG podcast, mate.
He came to Villa at a really strange time in Villa, in just Aston Villa's existence. You know, he came in, John Gregory was manager, then almost immediately fell out. It was Doug Ellis bought him and literally said, I bought him to get bums on seats so that people would turn up to Villa Park. Like literally, he came out and he said, that's why I've bought him. 3.5 million. I think he was 32 years of age at the time. And then John Gregory called him something like that, called him flabby or something like that. And he scores against Everton, whips off his shirt, and he was ripped.
Top,
and he was absolutely ripped. Like there wasn't an ounce of fat in him.
I remember
and,
that.
But
I think that's why we're buying Ferran Torres, to be honest. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't
What a
know.
player, Ginola.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't he? Oh, some
That was
players.
good with David Ginola, man, legend. Oliver, mate, we'll send you some videos from back in the days, mate. David Ginola, you need to watch
You've never seen
the
a
best
man
of
dribble
compilation.
like that. Like it's incredible. The two best are the two most. They look like the two most laziest, most nonchalant dribblers of the ball of all time were David Ginola and Robert Pires. Both of them played for Aston Villa, but like the two guys, just the ball was just sewn to their foot. They were absolutely amazing. Yeah,
Incredible. Yeah, I agree with that. Just brilliant, weren't they? Great entertainers. Yeah.
Guys, we're almost
So-
reaching the end of the pod. So we're going to discuss in detail. I just don't want the 2-0, the 1-0 prediction. I want a detailed score prediction or game scenario that you see happening during this Super Cup final. I'm going to start with you, Oliver. You know, this is the previous one. We won it against Tottenham, another English club. Struggled. We won it on penalties. What do you see for this Super Cup final on
In this
Wednesday?
Super Cup final? So we'll have a couple more starters from what we've seen against Man United. So I think we'll see Vitinha and Neves starting in the midfield, maybe alongside Dro or Beraldo, but I don't really know what sort of approach we'll take. However, we will still. I don't think Dembele and Doué and etc. will be brought straight back in because they can be injury prone. So I think our attack will maybe have its flaws in a way, and I think our defense might, because Hakimi may be brought back in. I'm not sure. So, anyways, that leads me to think. So I think 3-1 to PSG. I think we will go 1-0 down.
Wow.
And then that's when we will, and I think that's when we will kind of gradually. I can see it being like a 0-0 game for maybe 15-ish minutes. I reckon maybe first half ends 1-0, and then we come out with guns blazing completely, and we bring on all of our stars like Dembele, Doué.
Confident.
In terms of goal scorers for Villa, I think as silly as it sounds, I think Garnacho could shock us down that left side, mainly because it does sound a silly one. But I think
Neil was like, I don't think so, mate.
Garnacho's played about 70 minutes for us so far. I don't think Garnacho will start. I'll get to that in my predictions.
Whoever
is that hope? Is that hope, Neil?
No, I like Garnacho. I think Garnacho is Unai Emery's the perfect manager for Garnacho. I think like if he will get a tune out of him this year, I just think he's not match fit yet.
Whoever's down that left side, I think, because obviously I think Bolly will actually start this game, believe it or not, because I don't think Hakimi will be quite ready from the start. If he is, maybe change the perspective a bit. So that's why I think maybe he could get a lucky one through, or whoever it is. And then for PSG's goal scorers, I can see a Kvara go in there from cutting in and shooting. I think that's his trademark. I think Vitinha could probably get a long shot off at some point, and maybe that could provide for us. And then in terms of the other goal scorer, I could maybe see someone like Mayulu just putting the final nail in the coffin. But that depends obviously on the squad's composition and whatnot. So yeah, it'll be an interesting game. It's hard to predict.
What about you, Neil?
We already, what my score prediction. I said it's going to be 1-1, and then it's going to be an absolute circus because I've no idea. I don't know if anybody in this Aston Villa team can take a penalty. And I'll go into reasons for that, because we've sold Yuri Tielemans, who I'm going to miss dearly, and he took penalties last. He was our penalty taker last year, but we didn't get a penalty last year. We were the only team. I think we were the only team in England that didn't get a penalty in the Premier League last year. So, and I did the odds on that. If you were to put a fiver on every game, you would have been a very wealthy man at the end of the season if you put a fiver on Limerick on Aston Villa not to get a penalty in the whole season. I think it's going to go to 1-1, and then I think it's going to be complete another madness. Then in penalty shootouts, Villa will probably end up losing 3-0 in the penalty shootout, because I don't know if anybody will score. But I do think,
you need to believe in Emi Martinez.
He might save 2. But he won't save all 5.
Yeah,
that's the problem. So as I said to you before, you can have a great goalkeeper, and if he saves all 5, well then brilliant. But can't save every one of them. But I think this game is going to be a strange game. I think it's, and the only reason I think it's strange is not because PSG not because of the players are only coming back today, and PSG had what 14, 15 players I think in the World Cup, and went deep in the World Cup. I think it's a strange game because of the World Cup in general, because it's only 3 weeks since since the World Cup was on. This game seems like it's going to be sparsely attended, and I don't know whether it's going to be sparsely attended by PSG fans or by Villa fans. I also saw there's still tickets on sale, so I think there's just going to be a bit of a strangeness to this one. But I also think as well that both teams are using this, unfortunately for UEFA and unfortunately for both teams, I think as well, that there will still be a massive smell of preseason off this game, when traditionally it wouldn't have been that way. But it seems to be pushed back a couple of weeks now, or a week or something. Usually they would play this after maybe midweek, maybe 2 games into the Premier League season, but it seems to be pushed back now and has become almost like a preseason event. And yeah, I just think that it can go either way. With Villa's, it'll be interesting, obviously, because Villa will probably have to put a lot of their players coming back from the World Cup in from the start. So how are they going to look against Paris Saint-Germain, as you guys said, that they can bring them off the bench later on when preseason is still in full effect and Villa's players might be a small bit more tired. So I think there will be a bit of a strange dichotomy to this game in the early stages. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Villa go up and Paris Saint-Germain to come back and to win the game. Just because of that fact, because Villa are a small bit further along in their preseason than Paris Saint-Germain are.
Fair enough. Lee, I'll let you jump on this UEFA taking the shine off the Super Cup, man, because I know your opinion on this.
Yeah, again, just to kind of concur with what Neil said there, I believe that it is the UEFA competition. I think they're doing their competition a disservice by playing it so earlier in the season after a World Cup year. They did it last year just after the Club World Cup. I know that not every team played in the Club World Cup, and PSG went into that Tottenham game having, I think, a 2 weeks break and still found a way to win flat somehow. But there's no reason why this can't be played later in the season or played later in the month. If you go back, and I think this is what Neil was alluding to earlier, is that it used to be played on the eve of the Champions League draw, or just after the Champions League draw. And the group phase, the old group phase draw at the end, used to play in Monaco, if you remember. They used to do the draw in Monaco, then play the game that night. And they've pulled away from doing that, and I think they're doing it a disservice. It's their competition, it's their curtain raiser to the UEFA club season. And from that point of view, we've now got a game which is being treated as a pre-season friendly. PSG did it last year. They had no choice but to do it last year because they were coming off back off the Club World Cup. And now it is again. We're not going to see the best of both teams, unfortunately. And this is what I don't understand, why this couldn't be moved. Anyway, it is what it is. I don't think it's going to be a classic by any stretch of the imagination. I think that both teams are still too early in their preparations. I actually agree with Neil. I think to me 1-1 is going to go to penalties, and we know what happens when PSG are in penalty shootouts.
Exactly.
They find a way to win. If you go back to we got the Champions League. You've got I think they beat Liverpool
Intercontinental Cup
final against Flamengo.
Yes.
The king.
Yeah, there's been various games which they just, and the mad thing about it is they can't take a penalty when it falls in the middle of a league game or Champions League game. How many penalties they missed last season? 7, 8 penalties, in matches. But when it comes to a shootout, they just find another level. So I think 1-1. I'm with Neil on that one, and I think PSG will just edge it on penalties, and that'll be it. But going back to one final point, Neil said he thinks it'll be sparsely attended. I was offered a ticket back in June, based on off of my season ticket. I was offered a ticket, and I was going to get one. It was reasonably priced, and it was a travel. The travel and accommodation is just absolutely
was fucking
ridiculous.
Expensive, man.
We're talking. I think the flights I've seen, and it's tough for because you've got an English team in it as well. So being based in England is going to cost you a lot more, as the Champions League final did. Cost me a bit getting over to Budapest. There was up until I think a week ago, I got another email saying that was tickets still going.
Still
and then we're
available,
pretty
yeah.
much going on a general sale. And I don't know if that's the same deal
Yeah.
for Villa.
Yeah,
But
still
this is the
same,
problem
yeah.
also. It's not just about when it's played, right? Because you're playing peak months of the year where travel is expensive. It's also where it's being played in terms of its getting to Austria. Austria's a bloody expensive place to go
Yeah.
and travel to and visit. No matter what time of year it is, it's so expensive. So that's the ultimate reason why I'll be watching on the TV. But yeah, that's my long-winded way around it. 1-1 PSG on penalties.
There you
Just
go.
on the travel piece as well, my co-host actually himself and his wife were gone over to it, and they flew to Bratislava and from Dublin, so which is a bit better because obviously if you're to fly from Birmingham, you're probably tripling the price of the flight. Number one, but second of all, he flew into Bratislava and he got a ferry up the Danube, up as far as Vienna, and then got a coach across. Yeah, so he said flew in, did a day in Bratislava, did a day. So yeah, he went on Saturday, did Saturday and today and Sunday in Bratislava, got it up the Danube then to Vienna. He's doing 2 days in Vienna and he's over to Salzburg then on Wednesday for the game. So he said it worked out cheaper to do that way than to fly directly into Salzburg. So made an awful lot.
Some serious digging there to
get. But mate, look, listen.
You used to be traveling.
You need a week off. You need a week off work to just travel on the river in a boat. Like what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? That is crazy.
So many of us. I've just come off a family holiday. So many people have had family holidays as well.
Exactly.
To throw it in, it's it's a lot of cost, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Stu, come on, mate. What are you going for?
Well, it's not, mate. It's not going to be something original. Neil knows my prediction. I was with you boys when I was. It's the same, man. I don't think it's going to be 1-1. I'm going to go even further than that. I think it's going to be a boring, sleepy game. I think it's going to be 0-0, and we will win it on penalties. No goal. Goalless final. Goalless final. Sleepy final. Terrible, technically, physically, everything. And we'll squeeze it on penalties. But I think it's going to be... I'm sorry, I'm not really promoting the game itself. But I'm sharing my honest opinion, guys. I'm sorry. Hopefully we'll have no injuries on top of this. But, I think it's... As you said, there's a lot of factors that you add on top of everything that... I'm not really buzzing for. The only thing that makes me excited for this game is the back-to-back Supercup record that we can reach. Only 3 clubs did this. Ajax Amsterdam, Real Madrid and AC Milan, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we will be the 4th club to achieve a back-to-back Supercup in history. And this is why I really want to win that one. Yeah. However, if we don't win it, fuck it. I don't really care.
I don't think anyone will have any sleepless nights. I don't know if you will, Neil, if Villa don't win either. I think it's nice to win, isn't it? It's nice to get another European trophy. And of course you don't want to lose it, but also, there is a much bigger kind of objectives ahead for Villa this season, and obviously for PSG, it's not going to be the biggest priority of the season. We've both got Champions League football to look forward to. Big schedules. The transfer window's still open. There's still so much that's going to be going on over the coming weeks. But of course, it's nice to win the trophy, isn't it? Of course.
Lee, the thing that we'll be buzzing for. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Neil.
I think for Villa, the biggest thing that they could get from winning this. You obviously get the trophy, but I said this to Stuart earlier. It's the only gig in town. It's the only game. It's the only high-profile game of football on in the world at the moment. And if Villa were to win this, the eyes that would be on it for Aston Villa, for maybe a global fan base and so on, it's a real David versus Goliath in a lot of ways. Because Villa, the plucky upstarts, were trying to take on the top 6 in England. We've already had a crack off Paris Saint-Germain 2 years ago, and we ran them damn close that year. And the year they went on to win the Champions League. Now, albeit that we're missing 4 players that started that day, 5 players actually started that day. But we get another crack at it again in the Super Cup. And I think if Aston Villa win it, I think that would be worth. Like Villa are just back from Thailand, Indonesia, and Hong Kong on an Asian tour. And Villa have to do tours like that now to get themselves known, and they can because they've won the Europa League, because people actually want to show up and see them. But I think winning a game like this when there's no other game of football on, they'll almost capture the football market around the world. It'll be reported around the world, and people will be like, my God, this Aston Villa team are really good. They're after beating Paris Saint-Germain. And a lot of football fans around the world, and this is me disparaging them because I know that a lot of football fans will watch all podcasts and stuff, but they don't care whether Dembele was playing. They don't care whether Ollie Watkins played for Aston Villa. They'll see the result and go, that's a great result for Aston Villa. And they got a cup out of it. I might actually go and follow them in England, though. And that's the reality of this. I think the PR boost that Villa would get from winning this would far outweigh any silverware that they could write in the history books for winning a trophy like this.
That's a good shout, but I don't like the David versus Goliath comparison because I think you are undermining yourself. You're not Wrexham. You're an historic Premier League club. You do have investment. You play Europe football year in, year out. So you are a very important club. So no, you're not really small in this face-off. But what I was about to say earlier, I would be more excited if we were to play our revenge at Villa Park against Aston Villa in the Champions League. I want this to happen. The 3-2. I don't know if you were here, Lee, at Villa Park, but I was there. Mate, sorry about my French, but the expression in French, I don't know if the equivalent in English will be my ass cheeks were like this, like, tight, very tight, because I knew that if they added an extra 2 or 3 minutes of extra time, we were done, mate. We were done. I was saying to Neil, the Asensio occasion at the very last minute of the game, I was like, oh my God, this is happening all over again.
Yeah, it was. Stu, you know I was there because you got me brother a ticket.
Oh yes, mate. Yes, you were there. Yes, bro. Sorry about that. Yeah, I remember.
I was at Villa Park that night. I was there.
I thought it was St James's Park. Sorry, because I saw you in Newcastle as well.
No, I went seeing it in Newcastle. That's right.
Yeah.
But we went 2-0 up and it was game over. But that comeback, Villa really had us.
Yeah, man.
I mean, remember, this is a guy that was at Barcelona for the 6-1. I was in that stadium that night, and when you've been through hell, I was in Madrid when Benzema scored that hat trick in 2020, I think 2022.
PTSD.
Yeah. I was in the Bernabeu that night. So I've got some scars, gents. I've got plenty of scars from what PSG have done to me. So when John McGinn runs through and makes it 2-2, and then who got the third? Was it
Konsa?
Konsa. It was Konsa, wasn't it? Konsa got the third, and I'm sitting there, I'm just like, we're going to screw this up. We're absolutely screwing this up. And Villa had us rocking. They had us rocking.
Rashford was amazing that night.
Rashford was superb, wasn't he, that night? But he always has a good game against us. I don't know what happens when he plays us. He loves playing us. But it was squeaky bum time, as Alex Ferguson would say. But I always remember after the game there was a lot of respect between the two sets of fans. I think PSG fans, respected the fact that Villa really ran this emerging PSG super team so close.
You remember the atmosphere in the stands? The atmosphere in the stands, man, was something special. I was shocked to be fair.
Yeah, it was. And was that the game where they played the Europa League music instead of the Champions League?
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
That was hilarious. I looked at my brother. I was like, hold on, this ain't Thursday night. What's going on here? But but it was a bit of a bizarre night. But you ran as close, Neil, and it'll be nice if we met each other again in the Champions League this season. I'm with you, Stu. It'd be great to go and do Villa Park again on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. Would be pretty damn awesome, wouldn't it?
Fair enough. Guys, I think we are reaching the end of the pod. An hour 24 minutes for the grand premiere of the Parisian Connection. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Follow us on all our socials, YouTube, X, TikTok and Insta. It will be a weekly pod every Monday, same time, by the fans, for the fans, independent, true, genuine, passionate, loyal PSG fans. Guys, what else do you want? So good luck for the final, Neil. Good luck for the final. Hopefully it will be an entertaining game. I don't know, but hopefully, and on to the next one, hopefully in the Champions League.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be delighted. And Yeah, you got, yeah, maybe in the group stages. I wouldn't mind a trip to Paris. Maybe in the group stages. I don't know. Could I deal with facing you guys in the knockout stages of the Champions League again? Because there's a sense of inevitability when teams come up against Paris Saint-Germain recently in the knockout stages.
That's when we come to life, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. We might catch you. We might catch you in the group stage. All right, but yeah, for sure.
We'll put the socials of everyone involved as well in the description. Oliver, Lee, Neil, everyone showing some support. So big up to everyone. Allez Paris and enjoy the game on Wednesday. May the best team win. Have a lovely evening, gents.
Cheers.
You guys.
See you later.
Brilliant. All done. Everyone's jumped off. Nice one. I'm going to shoot off. Nice one. Cheers, Oliver. I hope you enjoyed it, mate.
Yeah, that was very fun.
Good. That weren't a bad first episode. We're going to building that's going to get better and stronger, and we're going to iron out all the all the little bits that we can make better. So, but really good. I was really pleased with that. Well done, mate. Great. Your contributions were brilliant, mate. Enjoyed that. Well done, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, mate. Thank you very much.
Take care, mate. Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye.